Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. I'm Dave Froehlich. We're taking a look at some of the crime stories that have made headlines recently in our area. An anti-ICE protest in downtown Austin led to more than a dozen arrests and vandalism. Protests started peacefully at the Capitol, and as it grew, so did safety concerns. Nearly a dozen people now face criminal charges. Fox 7 Austin's Tan Radford has more.
Tensions are high Monday night as demonstrators take to the streets of downtown Austin.
No ICE, no fear.
Protesting against the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigration, a ripple effect across the nation.
Rights are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Hundreds of activists gathered in front of the state capitol, waving flags and holding signs in a display of emotions. The group then marched toward the J.J. Pickle Federal Building where immigrants are held, and the protests escalated.
The crowd ultimately gathered in front of the Federal Building, where some individuals began defacing the property with graffiti. Officers issued dispersal orders at that point and moved the crowd westward along 8th Street. Agitators began throwing rocks at officers, and one officer was spit on in the eye by a protester.
Boarded windows, abandoned scooters, and destruction, all evidence of the aftermath from the demonstration organized by Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Any police violence against the protesters was simply unacceptable. All across the country, we've been basically seeing the police and law enforcement repressing protesters like they were here in Austin.
Leba Khan, an organizer of Monday night's emergency protests, says the activists are standing in solidarity with protesters across the nation and expressing their First Amendment rights. Austin Police and Texas Department of Public Safety de-escalated the demonstration with tear gas and pepper balls. There were at least 12 arrests made for unlawful behavior. Tuesday, demonstrators camped out in front of the Travis County Jail, waiting on the release of those detained.
It's horrifying to see this happening in our own community. We want to condemn APD and the DPS's violent tactics and their eagerness that they showed to suppress community members.
Law enforcement officials argue there are safer ways to get a message across.
We will not tolerate any unlawful violent behavior that puts members of our community and our officers at risk.
One man is behind bars and a 4-year-old is dead after a crash in South Austin. This happened around 1:30 a.m. June 8th on Mopac. 911 received several calls about a vehicle flipped over on its roof in a ditch. When police arrived, they found this man, Jonathan Dominguez, in the driver's seat unconscious. Witnesses told police there was a woman stuck in the vehicle, and when the witnesses tried to remove her, Dominguez tried to stop them from helping. Police also found 4 children in the back seat of the vehicle. One of them, that 4-year-old, died at the scene. Dominguez told officers he had been floating the river in New Braunfels and had taken several shots before getting behind the wheel. He's charged with intoxication manslaughter. Police are investigating the deaths of 2 teens in North Austin. They say it's a murder-suicide. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has more.
An unsuspecting discovery at the Summit condos in North Austin. Austin police say someone came to visit their relative at around 8:30 Monday night.
Shortly after entering that apartment, they discovered a person, a body that they suspected was not alive. So they exited and they called 911.
When police arrived, they found 2 people inside
who were obviously deceased.
They've been identified as 18-year-old Elizabeth Martinez and her boyfriend, 18-year-old Enrique Zamora Rosario. Investigators say Zamora shot and killed his girlfriend and then killed himself. This is being investigated as Austin's 29th homicide this year. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch.
Now, if you or someone you know is in distress, there is always help available. You can call 988. That's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which is available 24/7. More than a dozen people in Leander were hit by frozen water bottles while driving, and police are asking for the public's help as they try to find those responsible. Take a look at the pictures that Leander police shared with us. Police say they were juveniles throwing frozen water bottles at cars going in the opposite direction. Happened between May 29th and 30th, between the hours of 9 and 11 p.m. near 270 and San Gabriel Parkway and near North Baghdad Road. Several other incidents happened in Georgetown. Police say some of the water bottles were purchased at a Circle K. 2 people have injuries to their face, along with some damage to their cars. Leander police believe this was a random attack.
We would love to talk to them and understand why they were doing what they were doing, and just really communicate the level of danger that is involved in something like this, that it's not just kind of a funny prank or a silly joke, that it can cause serious damage. And unfortunately, it has the potential to cause some serious or deadly accidents.
Leander police say the suspects were reported to be in 3 vehicles. One's a 2014 white Dodge Durango with a sunroof. The second is described as a lifted truck that's two-toned white and gray. And finally, a dark-colored truck with a chrome brush guard. If you have any information or video that could help with this case, please call Leander police. Fox 7 has obtained audio of a teenager believed to be involved in the murder of an Infowars writer. In the recording, he's reacting to the news and implicates himself in the crime. Meanwhile, Austin police have already arrested 4 teenagers in connection to the deadly shooting from back in March. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has this story.
This is a recorded conversation obtained by Fox 7 between an unidentified woman and an unnamed teen.
The one that threw away recently after what happened with the reporter, that was like a little tourist.
The teen is talking about a gun and a reporter, which is circled back to later in this conversation.
You said your homeboy shot a dude that was a reporter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I just said. I said, show me. I don't even know what you're reading. I don't watch the news, dog.
Oh, they made a whole TikTok about it.
What's your homeboy's name? I just look it up from there. How right? I can Google him and or some shit. Google his name and it'll show me, right?
His name is Eloy.
What is it?
Eloy.
A 17-year-old named Eloy Camarillo has been arrested by Austin police for the murder of Infowars writer Jamie White. Back to the conversation. The teen then reads off a news article.
Austin police have released new information regarding the investigation into the fatal shooting of Infowars reporter Jamie White. Authorities say White was attempting to prevent a burglary of his vehicle when he was shot outside his Southeast Austin apartment Sunday night. If you discover someone breaking into your vehicle, please call 911, said Jason Jones of APD Homicidal Unit.
What is Infowars?
Huh?
What is Infowars?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think that's like a news channel or something.
Then the teen alludes to being at the scene of the crime.
But that shit was crazy. We didn't even expect that to like kill someone. That why they didn't kill it, but my homeboy did. We didn't expect.
Yeah, you just acted like you did. You shouldn't have said that. It's okay. I'll pretend like I didn't hear it.
We didn't expect shit to happen. That shit happened out of nowhere.
Police say back in March, 4 teens were trying to steal White's Kia when he confronted them. That's when White was shot and killed.
This is a very big problem in Austin, and we are trying to do what we can to hold those individuals accountable.
17-year-olds Elroy Camarillo and Rodney Hill and 2 15-year-olds have been arrested and charged with capital murder. Court records reveal Camarillo told police Hill was the shooter. When police went through Hill's phone, they found audio recordings of him rapping about White's murder, mentioning White's name, and hitting him with a 9.
At this time, we do not believe that Jamie was targeted. Instead, we believe this is a very unfortunate and tragic series of senseless events involving the 4 individuals who obviously have no value for human life.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
One person is dead, another is behind bars after a shooting in Northeast Austin. Police say Tevin Stewart shot and killed his brother Warren at their apartment on Halifax Drive. Around 10:30 p.m. on June 6th, 911 received a call from the address saying they needed help. When EMS arrived, they found Tevin inside. He pointed out a victim on the ground who was identified as Warren. EMS realized he'd been shot and called Austin police. Tevin told officers he'd shot his brother and was arrested. He's now being held in the Travis County Jail, charged with first-degree murder. Austin Police Department has released dash camera video of a shootout in North Austin, and officers have arrested a teenager with a criminal history. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
We are extremely fortunate that we're not standing here talking about an officer that's been shot or been killed.
This is the end of the chase, but this video shows how it got to this point. It's a little past 11 on Saturday night. Austin police are trying to pull over the driver of this reported stolen car.
The vehicle began to evade officers, traveling at a high rate of speed and running through red lights.
They're going northbound on Research Boulevard.
1050, 1050, 1050, 1050.
The car just ran into a cement pillar, but it keeps going.
1050, 1050, 1050, 1050, 1050. Start EMS, start EMS. Progress.
That's 18-year-old Devin Guevara. He was out on probation for an assault causing bodily injury family violence charge.
I do want to say that he fired every single piece of ammunition that he had.
4 Austin police officers fired back. Their years of service range from 1 year and 8 months to 2 years and 6 months.
They did a fantastic job of slowing things down and just really, communicating well.
One officer was treated for minor injuries. Guevara was hit in the clavicle. He was taken to the hospital and treated, then booked into the Travis County Jail. He's charged with 3 counts of felony aggravated assault against a public servant, evading motor vehicle, and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle.
This is someone who attempted to kill your police officers in the city. And so, a kid that age, and that's what's terrifying, is a kid, that young, to make a decision that's going to change the rest of his life and affect these cops for the rest of theirs. It's a big deal. Absolutely is. And where did the gun come from? All of those things we have to learn.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
People gathered for a vigil in San Antonio honoring King of the Hill actor Jonathan Joss. Police say he was shot and killed outside of his home on June 1st. His death continues to spark concerns in the LGBTQ community. Here's more from Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shin.
In San Antonio, people paid their respects at a vigil for Jonathan Joss, who was killed on June 1st.
Jonathan was more than the roles that he played. He was a proud Indigenous man, a member of the LGBTQIA Two-Spirit community, a relative, a friend, a storyteller, and an individual that brought visibility, warmth, and truth wherever he went.
Police arrested 56-year-old Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez for his murder. Ceja Alvarez posted bond on Monday and is on house arrest. In a post to social media, Joss's husband says the suspect yelled homophobic slurs before the shooting. San Antonio police initially said there was no evidence of the shooting being related to sexual orientation. Chief William McManus later walked back that statement and apologized directly to the LGBTQ community during a forum between the department and Pride San Antonio.
We come with heavy hearts, like many of you here, not only because we've lost someone special to our communities, but because we recognize that Jonathan's story is not an isolated one. It reflects a larger pattern of injustice, neglect, and pain that our communities face across the nation every day.
As people remember who Joss was, they also continue to stand up for their communities.
Tonight, we mourn Jonathan's loss, but we also renew our resolve to fight for every relative who faces violence and neglect.
An FBI task force led to nearly 250 arrests and the identification of more than 100 child victims in Texas. It was a joint operation between local and federal authorities targeting alleged child sex criminals. Fox's Alex Boyer has more from our sister station in Dallas.
Today we stand united, local, state, and federal law enforcement, with one clear mission: to protect our children and hold predators accountable.
Law enforcement officers from 70 different agencies, including the Dallas, Plano, Wiley, and Garland police departments, took part in a statewide operation that led to the arrest of 244 offenders charged with a variety of child sex crimes.
The number brings to light to the harm being done behind closed doors to our communities, and more specifically, our children.
Operation Sotaria Shield was a month-long operation conducted in April. The goal was to identify children who are victims of online sexual exploitation and bring their perpetrators to justice. 109 children were identified and given resources. This operation was run in conjunction with the National Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Investigators were able to identify the victims through images and videos and arrest hundreds of suspects for the production, distribution, and possession of child sexual abuse materials.
Children today are at risk like they've never been in the past. Part of that is because of the increased access predators have to children, whether that be through online gaming platforms, social media, or other apps.
Bee Cave Police Department is using drones like no other department in Central Texas. They're the first to receive a waiver allowing pilots to operate drones remotely. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has more.
A police dispatch
They would just hit create mission. That's all they have to do.
looks different. It's a drone.
A new innovative way to leverage technology to help us serve the community better and also to serve as a force multiplier.
Soaring through the air, the drone can get to a scene much faster than a patrol car can on the roads.
If there's some type of delay of our response for, like, say, traffic or things like that, the drone bypasses all of that.
Within a minute of this call being generated, we can approve it and have it sent on its way.
With views from the sky, it can also help officers gather crucial information before they arrive.
I'm able to move the drone camera around. I'm not actually moving the aircraft at all. It's flying autonomously to the point that's been selected. But along the way, I can choose to zoom in or zoom out. And if it was at night, I could choose to put on the thermal camera and get a thermal view.
The Bee Cave Police Department has already utilized EV drones for almost a year during fire assessments, search and rescue operations, large events like the Pecan Treat Festival, and weather emergencies.
And it was giving us constant live updates as to the road conditions so we could deploy our officers to collisions, our public works. We could divert resources from public works to help sand roadways. We could monitor the roads, how traffic was, and things like that without actually deploying officers.
The department is now elevating their use of drone technology. They were just approved for the Beyond Visual Line of Sight waiver.
Those pilots no longer have to, we don't have to have an observer watching the drone as it flies to the location of where the call is. And also, we don't have to have a pilot physically flying the drone. They're completely autonomous. They fly themselves.
Chief Jones says this will allow them to expand their program pretty rapidly.
It's exciting for us because we're at the forefront of applying this technology to law enforcement and emergency response.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin, CrimeWatch.
Cap Metro is introducing its first transit police officers. 2 sergeants and 9 officers tasked with making Austin's public transit safer for the community. Cap Metro says the 2 sergeants and 9 officers who've been sworn in will work to keep public transportation safe as they also educate riders on the benefits of public transit. Cap Metro's board of directors approved the creation of the Transit Police Department in 2021. They received certification from the Texas Commission of Law Enforcement last year. The officers began patrolling this month. For more on the stories featured in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com. Click on the Crime Watch section at the top of the page. You can also watch our Fox Local mobile and connected TV apps. They're free to download, and you can stream content on your phone as well as on multiple platforms like Roku and Apple TV. Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 YouTube channel.